Good morning. We're doing chapter 13 of Touching Spirit Bearer. This is part 3. I'm starting on page 107 where it says Cole. Just right after it says jail scars the soul, which is what we talked about yesterday. Cole, Rosie said, touching his bandaged arm, in a few months your body will heal, but time won't heal your mind as easily. Helping others can help heal your wounds of the spirit. So Rosie's giving him advice that one of the things that he needs to do to change is to help others instead of just himself. Still troubled by his dream, Cole said, "There are people who want to hurt me." Rosie squeezed Cole's hand. "Those are the people who need your help. I bet you weren't a bundle of fun when Garvey first met you." So Rosie's saying to Cole in that section that one of the things he needs to do is help the people that hurt him. That's how you heal. That's how you come back around. Forgiveness is a big part of healing, not just forgiving other people, but also forgiving yourself. Cole shook his head. "How is your pain?" Rosie asked. "I hurt," Cole said. The Tlingit nurse unwrapped a package and prepared a syringe and needle. "Let's give you something to help you sleep." "Give me something to take away the monsters," Cole said. "Only you can do that," she answered. So that is, when we talk about reading, that's an example of another call and turning point. Rosie's giving him another challenge that he has to face, another thing that he has to overcome. She's saying that he said, "Give me something to take away the monsters." And I guess question number one is, who do you think Cole is referring to when it says about the monsters? Who is he referring to? And then the second part of that is, when she says that only you can do that, what is she challenging him to do? Cole slept hard, his first real sleep in many days. When he awoke, a small lamp glowed in the dark near his bed. Rosie was already up, working quietly around the room. When she heard him stir, she snapped on the lights and came over to the bed. "Did you sleep well?" she asked. Cole nodded. "Let's clean your dressings this morning," she said. "The people in Ketchikan think that we're witch doctors out here in the sticks." Cole grimaced. The pain had returned with a vengeance. Rosie saw him wince and gave him another shot. "Things will get worse before they get better," she said. "Just warning you so you know what to expect." Then she added, "But they really will get better." While Cole waited for the medication to dull his pain, Garvey sat upright on his cot and stretched out the kinks of his back. He ran a hand through his tousled hair. "How about if I get some breakfast?" he said. Rosie nodded approval, and she hung a fresh IV. Again, she took Cole's temperature and pulse. Then she brought over a bag containing his clothes. "Here," she said, placing the bag beside the bed. "There wasn't much left of your clothes, but I had them washed up anyway to take with you." Cole eyed the colorful towel blanket folded on top of the bag. As Garvey returned with juice and warm oatmeal, Edwin appeared at the door and announced, "The plane is in the air, should be landing in about 30 minutes. He turned to Rosie. "After Cole eats, let him get down to the dock. Let's get him down to the dock. I've got help coming." By the time Cole finished eating, 2 boys from the village had arrived to lift him. The boys, both Cole's age, eyed him curiously as they carried him on a stretcher out to the waiting van. Rosie rode beside Cole in the van, holding his IV bag. When they reached the marina, the boys again helped Garvey and Edwin carry the stretcher to the end of the dock. Rosie hung Cole's IV from the dock post. "I'll be right back," she said. "I'll need your medical records from the van." The boys followed Rosie, leaving Edwin and Garvey alone with Cole. This is a change in mood and tone. It's like a little plot within a plot. The author has created an opportunity for Garvey and Edwin to have a discussion with Cole. And so we have to pay attention to what this discussion's about, because that means that there's going to be something kind of important or meaningful in this section. Edwin looked out at the horizon, glowing red with early dawn. Remember how we talk about something beautiful being explained anytime that there's something that we're supposed to pay attention to. The author's using imagery to capture our attention. So it says again, Edwin looked out at the horizon glowing red with the early dawn. "Tell me what happened out there," he said. "I didn't think anybody cared about me anymore," Cole said, struggling to speak. "That's why I burned the shelter." Hesitantly, he explained how he had tried to escape the island and how he was mauled trying to kill the spirit bear. "I wanted to kill it because it wasn't scared of me," he admitted. As Garvey and Edwin listened, he continued, telling next about the storm. And when Cole had finished, Garvey said, "You may never have use of that arm again. Life is made up of consequences, and you've certainly had some bad choices." So that's a kind of a piece of evidence that your brain should be like, he's saying that Cole is not going to have full use or good use of that arm again. So my question now, I guess this is number 2, question number 2, is how does that relate to Cole's past and Peter, and how does this fact about that Garvey's telling him that he may never use his arm again connect to what's happened in the past? That's question number 2. Cole nodded. My arm isn't important." Garvey gave Cole a puzzled look. "Why do you say that?" Pay attention. "If I like the cake, maybe the ingredients are okay too." Cole smiled weakly. "A famous parole officer told me that once." So, what is Cole saying when he's bringing back the cake analogy? And Cole says, "If I like the cake, maybe the ingredients are okay too." He's talking about the arm and not being able to use it, and Cole's basically saying, I'm okay with that because maybe if I like the cake, the ingredients aren't so important. So I'm going to make that question 3. What is Cole realizing, or what is Cole saying at this point, using the cake analogy again himself? Garvey raised an eyebrow. "A famous parole officer let you get mauled by a bear. Now you'll end up in the hospital. When you're released, you'll still have your parents to deal with, and you'll still be facing a jail term. I doubt the hearing circle will consider returning you to the island after what's happened. You realize all that, don't you?" So what he's being told right now is because of the mauling and everything else, that the Circle Justice people might not let Cole go back to the island because it's too dangerous. And Cole's going to have to face the reality that he may not be able to finish this circle, that he might have to go to jail instead or something else. I mean, we know that that's probably not true because otherwise we wouldn't have much of a book left. But at this point, Cole's going to have to consider that thought. Cole nodded. "I do, but it's okay. Whatever happens now, I'm done being mad." Edwin shook his head. "A person is never done being mad. Anger is a memory that is never forgotten. You only tame it." He pointed out toward the island. "Tell me more about the spirit bear." Part of me wants to end right there, but I think that we're kind of in a shaky place to end, so I'm going to get this description of the spirit bear. "The bear was pure white," Cole said. "The last time it came, it stood right over me." And then he spoke in a whisper. "I reached up and touched it." Edwin studied Cole. "Spirit bears live hundreds of miles south of here off the coast of British Columbia, not here in these islands." Excuse me. He shook his head. "We've hunted here since I was young, and so have my parents and their parents. There are no spirit bears around here, except maybe in your mind." Cole started to argue and then remembered the handful of white hair he had pulled off the bear. "Want to bet?" he said, reaching for his pants in the bag beside him. But then suddenly he paused. His life had become filled with lies, and the more he lied, the more he always tried to prove he was right. Never had he been strong enough to simply tell the truth. So Cole put down the bag. Today things would change. From now on, he would speak the truth, even if it meant going to jail. He spoke softly. I don't need to prove anything. I'm telling the truth. So my last closing question is, why is that an important part when Cole says, I don't need to prove anything. I'm telling the truth. See you guys in class at 11.